Hello, friends. So you guys know that on July 4th, yesterday, Trump accounts officially go live. So many of you guys have already set up the Trump account. Some of you guys maybe heard about Trump accounts for the first time. Some of you are probably confused. What is a Trump account? I don't want to invest in Trump's golf courses or his meme coins or other real estate ventures or his crypto ventures, and you're probably confused like, well, I don't want to touch the Trump account because this sounds very scary. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll also talk about what are some of the advantages of Trump accounts. And we'll also talk about who qualifies, who doesn't qualify, how to set it up. So we'll go through the whole a bunch of questions related to Trump account so you have a better understanding of it. Now, first of all, we are already hearing many announcements from companies. So some companies are saying, hey, look, we are going to contribute X amount of dollars to my employee's child's Trump account. So if you are a business owner and you want to contribute to your employee's child Trump account, that's completely fine. So we already saw that. But some companies are going above and beyond that. For example, we heard an announcement from Micron CEO Sanjay Malhotra, and Sanjay said, look, in all the areas where we have our presence, we are going to contribute to everybody's Trump account. So that was kind of interesting. Similarly, we saw an announcement by Dell yesterday. Dell is saying that, hey, we are going to contribute $250 per child for up to first 25 million Trump accounts. So that's a great announcement. And I'm sure there are going to be many other announcements that you're going to hear, or maybe they were not that big, so we didn't really hear about them quite clear. And then on top of that, the US government is willing to contribute $1,000 as well. So that is pretty good. Now, $1,000 is not for everyone. That means somebody has to be a US citizen. They have to have a valid social security number. But, that's a basic requirement for Trump account. So that applies to everyone. What's critical for $1,000 is that the child has to be born between the year 2025 and 2028. So if they were born last year, you're good. Yeah, anytime last year, they get extra $1,000. They were born this year, they get extra $1,000. Next year, they will also get 1,000. Now, remember, it's not like 1,000 every year. So if you already got that 1,000 last year, doesn't mean you can get extra 1,000 this year and so forth. Basically, the idea is for these 4 years, 25, 26, 27, and 28, U.S. President Trump presidency time, so that's why it's called the Trump account. During those times, if the kid is born, U.S. government is going to fund $1,000 as well. So far, you can take $1,000 from the government, providing they were born in those time years. But the announcement by Micron and Dell had nothing to do with when the child is born. They're willing to give money to all children who have Trump account. So that is a good reason for you to set up a Trump account. So if you don't already have one, you probably should set one up. Now, don't worry, I'll walk you through what you need to do. But before we go how to set one up and you jump on and you start getting very creative with it, that what is it that you're going to do with Trump account, please understand that anything that you invest in Trump account is limited in nature, okay? Not bad, just limited, okay? For example, the only thing you can do is invest in index funds. So you can't buy individual stocks. You cannot invest in options. You cannot use margins. You cannot use leverage products, anything like that. It has to be index funds, which is not bad, by the way, because over a long period of time, if you think about any investment, whether it's gold, stocks, ETFs, the key concept to understand is that you are not interrupting compounding. If you let any investment compound over a long period of time, it is going to do really good. So when we talk about kids who are 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 years old right now, and you're setting up a Trump account for them and give them 50, 60 years of compounding, that is going to be a lot of money. And I'll break it down. I'll help you understand what am I talking about here. But I'm just saying, don't run away from Trump accounts just because your options for investing is limited. Now, another question you might ask is, Deepak, so typically speaking, when we think about setting up some sort of accounts like these, we are used to a concept of earned income. That means you have to work and earn income. Well, for Trump accounts, there is no requirement for child to work because they are children, they're kids. So they do not have to earn. And parents can open up the account on behalf of those children. That's why they're called custodian account, pretty much right after birth. So if you have kids that are being born right now, you can certainly do that. So let's understand how much money can child really accumulate in Trump account first? So that way, hopefully you have an understanding as to why it is so important for you not to ignore. Now, before I even go there, you might ask, well, why name it Trump account anyway? If this had nothing to do with President Trump's business, if it had nothing to do with his golf courses or his real estate ventures, his hotels or his meme coins, if it had nothing to do with any of that, why did we name it Trump account? Well, do you guys remember Obamacare? So there was this health program that was designed by President Obama. And even till today, a lot of people call it Obamacare. It's not that President Obama is providing you health care. He's not a doctor. He's not treating you, but it's still Obamacare. It's a way to market yourself. It's a way to leave a legacy. It's a way for people to remember you. So President Trump came up with this great idea and go like, look, if I have kids and once kids set up an account, they're going to use this account forever. 50 years, 60 years, 80 years. President Trump might not be alive by then, but his name is now linked with that account. It will be known as Trump account. So those kids who are investing or their parents who are investing in kids account, guess what? Every time the conversation around this subject matter will arise, they will remind them, hey, you got X amount of dollars sitting in your Trump account. So you can just imagine how much free marketing you get out of this concept. So it's really purely that kind of setup. Other than that, it had nothing to do with other ventures President Trump has. So let's think about it. Let's say you set up a Trump account today, or you already have one, and all you do is government contributes $1,000 to it. You do nothing. And if that $1,000 appreciate or compound at a bare minimum 8%, so lately S&P 500 has been giving 12, 13, 14% in the market, but I'm not going to go that because we don't know what the future looks like. Some years going to be down, some years going to be up. So I'm going to stick with just simple 8%. At 8%, that is going to come out to be roughly about $150,000 by the time that child actually retires. So that's $150,000 worth of free money. I mean, you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is set up a Trump account right now. And if your child was born last year, this year, next year, the year after, basically you're contributing $150,000 for their retirement. Set up an account, put it on S&P 500, and forget about it. You never have to touch it again. So that is your option number one. Option number two is that you can obviously take the $1,000 that government is giving you, and then you can contribute $5,000 from your pocket to child account. And on top of that, you contribute additional $5,000 every year until they turn 18. So you kind of set up a savings bucket of $5,000 a year for your child for next 18 years, providing they're, in year one. Some of you guys probably have an older kid. So that means over the 18 years of time frame, you have contributed roughly about $91,000. That means by the time they turn 18, you would have doubled that money, maybe around 180, 190 bucks, which is really good. That means they can actually use that money, for example, for their college or something like that. That's already really great. But hear me out. Let's just say after that, you do nothing and your child does nothing. They just leave it alone and we let it compound again, same at, let's say, 8%. That number, by the time they retire, will be well over $5 million. So how many of you guys are happy that you're leaving your kids with $5 million? Now, I know you might say, some of you guys who understand math will say, Deepak, you're making it sound like really a big deal, but 5 million, 6 million, $7 million over the next 18 years, or what about the time value of money? Is it really going to be that much money? And especially if we talk about by the time the child retires, we're talking about 65 years from now, perhaps even 70 years from now. Is that going to be a lot of money? No, I agree. Whether it's 5 million, 6 million, 7 million, even 10 millions, I understand it's not going to be as big of a number as it sounds today, but still it's substantial because how many of us are really planning on leaving $10 million? And remember, when I say 7, 8, $9 million, I'm not really assuming that markets are going to give a huge return. I'm using a conservative number. So these numbers could be significantly higher than that. Now, let me give you another idea here. The idea here would be is if you can teach your kids how to do savings, meaning you take the $1,000, you contribute every single year for your until they are turned 18. And then after that, you teach your kids to continue to do that. So just like kind of like the way we contribute to our IRA, whether you're doing backdoor IRA or you qualify for IRA, doesn't matter. But the way we contribute to IRA, if they can also contribute, I mean, this number could be 12, 13, 14, $15 million, depending upon how market performs. But at the bare minimum, even if market performs, let's say, I don't know, 6%, 6.5%, most likely that number will be close to $6-7 million. So there's going to be a lot of money for them. So, and I'm not talking about a lot of savings, guys. I'm just using very minimum numbers because if you think about it, the value of 7,000, 7,500 10 years from now is just simply not going to be as much. So technically speaking, most likely they'll be contributing a lot more money. So point is, you can leave them with $150,000 by just setting up a Trump account today. You can contribute until they turn age 18. That can be a decent amount of savings for them. But the best thing you can do is you can contribute and train your kids to continue to contribute. So that way they can maximize the benefit. Now, let's talk about some of the limitations because it's important to understand those as well. Can we continue to contribute forever? The answer is no. The family contributions are limited to $5,000 per year. Government contribution of one does not count against that $5,000 limit. So if you got that $1,000, you contribute additional $5,000. Basically, they get $6,000 in their account. Now, what about employers? Well, the employers can contribute up to $2,500 per year. So I think many of your employers are most likely going to take advantage of this, and they are going to contribute decent amount to your kids' Trump accounts. Now, so does that mean you can contribute 5,000, government contributes 1,000, employer contributes 2,500? Unfortunately not. The maximum limit is $5,000 plus 1,000 because that's a one-time contribution. So, that's the limitation. Now, if you're an employer and you're contributing to your employee's Trump account for their kids, then you can deduct that $2,500 on your tax return. So that's pretty good. Okay. So that's the contribution part. Now, after the kid turned age 18, family contribution cap at this point ends. And the account automatically converts like a regular IRA account, meaning now you have annual IRA limits, kind of like the way we have right now. But obviously in future, that number is going to be a lot higher. And they are going to have earned income requirements at that time. So they don't have right now until the age 18. So be very careful. But after the age 18, they will have those IRA requirements. That's why when I earlier said, they're going to contribute most likely 7,500 or more. That's what I mean by that, because they are going to be able to make money. Now, are Trump accounts tax-free? No. Contributions are tax deductible before age 18, but only if employer is contributing. So keep that in mind. Investments are not tax-free, but they are tax deferred. That means at some point when you take the money out, you will have to pay taxes on it, which don't shy away. Just because of that, don't shy away from this program. It's still a pretty good program. Now, withdrawals are generally going to be taxable, but who knows? There are a lot of tax saving strategies today, and there are going to be a lot of tax saving strategies in the future as well. So don't get scared just because you have to pay taxes. Another question you can ask is, well, how do we access the money? How does the kid use the money? Okay. So all the funds that you put into the Trump accounts will remain locked until the age 18. Okay. And after the age 18, they can use that money for education. They can use to buy their first home. They can use it to start a business, which is kind of interesting. Start a business. I mean, that means almost anybody can access that money. But the best thing you can do with it, let it compound. Like I said, the best strategy that you can learn is never interrupt compounding. If they can compound forever, that's great. So I would certainly suggest that they use it for retirement. Now, how do you enroll in this program? What do you need to do? One, you need to go to the IRS website, and most likely many of you guys have already verified yourself with IRS, so you can just simply log in with your account, and then you're going to need your child's social security number. You're going to fill out the form 4547, and after that, you can use your Trump account. You can connect with different brokerages and whatnot, and you can start using it. So let's go through the basics. Every newborn child gets 1,000, providing they were born in 25, 26, 27, and 28. Anybody who was born before 25 does not get that extra $1,000. Remember, this $1,000, the whole idea is so people remember the President Trump's second term. So that's what it is linked with. You, father, mother, other family members can contribute maximum $5,000 to a Trump account. Okay. Now remember, this is for per child. So if you have two child, you can certainly contribute more than 5,000. You're contributing 5,000 to each kid. That's completely okay. But to one kid, maximum is 5,000, and the government doesn't care where that money comes from. It can come from an employer, which is $2,500, not more than that. It can come from parents. It can come from grandparents, anything, but no more than 5,000. Any money that you put into it is gross tax-free, tax-free, tax deferred. We talked about that, not tax-free. You will pay taxes when you take the money out. So the whole idea behind the account is to teach people about savings, teach people about investing, teach people about some basics. Like, look, as you guys know, I run a coaching program with finance and try to teach people about how can you invest and make a little bit of a delta. But before you get there, you need to have a habit of saving. You need to have a habit of income generation. You need to have a habit of compounding. So those are three basic principles you got to have in place before you're able to take advantage of other things that we do. So I think that's what it is to do with Trump account. So hopefully that answers your questions. So don't hesitate. Set up a Trump account. You can go online, go onto IRS website. Trump has a website. You can set up the account from there. Some of you guys probably set up a Trump account when you were filing your tax return last year. So as long as you have that in place, and like I said, tomorrow is Monday, a lot of people are going to sign up. So if you want that extra $250 from Dell, you need to make sure you're part of first $25 million, 25 million people who have their Trump account set up. So that's a free money for you guys to take advantage of that. And this is a great way, by the way, to remember the 250th anniversary of the United States. So a lot of this sounds like marketing, but hey, it works out in the future of this country. So I love it. Thank you so much, guys. And if you have any questions, reach out to me via taxcodeadvisors.com, and I'll see you next time.